All right guys, we're actually gonna start off this video with a mod on the R34, which is very uncommon on the channel because this car's pretty much been built for 5 years, we don't ever touch it. But one thing that's been driving me nuts on this thing forever is this stupid windshield wiper thingy-mabob that sticks out. It looks gross. If you have a JDM car, chances are you probably have the same thing, or you still got a rear wiper, which is ugly as Now I met this company called Kill All Wipers and they gave me a delete kit for this car years ago at the World Tour. I lost it and I've been kicking my ass because I couldn't find it. So I bit the bullet and ordered another set from the UK where they are based. I just hate waiting. And for that reason, I am happy to announce that as of this video, we are already stocking Kill All Wipers wiper delete kits. So if you got a JDM car, chances are we have what you need on the site. But if we don't, let us know and we can stock more. Not only is that stocking gonna save you money, it's gonna save you time too because you don't have to wait as long. Actually, you know what? I think we've got another R34 mod that we can put in this video. I actually had Ray paint the underside of this hood. It was one of the things we never got around to doing in the build. And I got a new like heat shield, cowl, whatever you want to call it for under the hood. So I figured it was a perfect time to paint underneath it. Took a couple days to get the paint match right, but it came out sick. I'm gonna be displaying this car at Amelia Island with the Griot's team over at Radwood, as well as the Mint 964 over on the main concourse. So I'm trying to get the cars looking as good as I can. Yeah, I get some weight savings, this dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
5 pounds?
I mean, we'll weigh it if you want. You know what's funny? Who decided that rear wipers weren't cool? You ever think of that? Like, maybe some people out there think that they're cool. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some people that like weird things, like Mini Coopers. Like, you know what I mean? No offense if you got a Mini Cooper, but like sometimes stuff is so weird that it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, what's a car that I own that's so weird that it's cool?
I don't think you have any. I think they're all just cool.
There's gotta be a car that is weird that I own.
That thing's a weird car.
The Datsun's kind of weirdly cool.
Yeah, but in like an old school vintage way.
Do I not own any like quirky cars? I feel like I used to own a quirky car. CRX. I think CRXs are so ugly and weird that they look cool.
Okay.
That's kind of in the family. Also me, I'm ugly and weird, but I'm cool. That was easy. I would say it's definitely like, we're talking 5 pounds at most.
Yeah.
The cool thing is though, I got kits for 34s, 33s, 32, S chassis, Evos, and I think a couple others. So we're pretty stocked up. But the funny thing is, like, half of the kits I'm gonna use in my own cars that I bought. I didn't get that many, because I don't know how many people don't like rear wipers other than me, but I guess we'll find out if the stonks go up.
If the stonks be stonking.
Yeah.
They really give me everything. I even got a little plug for the old guy. I didn't think about that. Do all have rear sprayers that have rear windshield wipers? Is that a thing?
Some don't.
Hey, don't show me watching a tutorial. I'm supposed to look like I know what I'm doing. Maple Mike's deep in the welds right now, and I gotta go over and steal my Griot surface prep. This stuff is gangster. He's using it actually to clean pipes where he's welding. I use this before anything I'm doing that has any sort of adhesive in it, just to get all the oils and stuff off of finishes, and it smells good too. In case you're wondering, I still get nervous doing stuff like this. Like the crazy that we do in the shop, and I'll be like putting in a little plug with some sealant, and I'll just be like triple checking, triple guessing myself.
Yeah.
Like, can I really do this? Do I really got this?
Sometimes I'm like, okay, bro, come on.
It never changes though, but like, you know, you might think like I've done so much car stuff at this point that like this should just be like something I don't even think about, but
Yeah.
this is a forever mod. This is like tattooing my car. I mean, I guess you could pull it out and probably clean off the sealant.
Yeah.
To me though, this is like a big deal. Don't f it up, Adam. This one's gonna be hard to get to. Oh, I'm messing up already. So much stuff getting in my way. Ha, she's in there.
The flush, like,
Yeah.
look that it has to it.
I gotta get to the tape though. All right guys, today we get to finalize the ride height and fitment on this car, and you know what that means. That means my paint isn't cracked and I'm not whining like a little bitch, because J-Boy GLC came out. A bunch of you guys recommended him on Instagram. I told him if he doesn't crack my paint, I'll mention his name. So here it is here. Super cool guy, Central Florida area. I think he's got a YouTube channel he's trying to build too. So I'll definitely be having him back for my future fender rolling needs. I'm a happy customer because now I can make my car look good. I honestly don't know how to explain what I'm about to do in a simple way that won't bore you guys, but I'm essentially adding a helper spring. That way I can lower the spring perch without having slop to take away droop, which will technically add a little bit of droop and take away compression, but this is a really long stroke shock, so we'll be good. We'll leave it at that. Put us an inch lower, bud.
It's a cool way of doing it.
Yeah.
Or the right way of doing it, I guess.
Technically, I could go shorter shocks and I'd achieve the same thing, but then I'd lose some stroke, so it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I could talk in a cyclical thought for a very long time about it. This brings me back to the Safari GTR days where we were trying to like maximize every inch of possible stroke we could get. In the end of the day, it's a street car, but I am kind of a suspension nerd and I like trying to make things ride the best possible way they can. And that means not riding around on bump stops. If you do this the wrong way, you could basically just be sitting on your bump stops and not even know. So I highly recommend checking if you're with anything from how it comes out of the box. Make sure you're not making it worse. All right, now we're talking.
That's
It
sick.
can maybe go a little bit lower, but I think it's gonna settle. Before we were a little bit too not cool, but I think we're getting there now.
No, that's sick.
I just love how the R32 sedan looks, where it's kind of got like the big meaty tire, but we're like, I'm just tucking just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Tucking a little bit. Yeah, there you go. That's a sneak peek, but it's gonna look way better once we actually get on the ground. I get my little splitters on there. It's gonna have a very unique and different look from a car that's been so tastefully modified for so long. I'm trying to build a little bit different and try to put my own flair on it.
Good.
Looking nuts, dude.
Looking nuts.
That's knocking butts. Breaking in the fresh carbon WRC Stilo. I wanted a really nice half face just because I use them most of the time when I'm doing like ride along stuff or like lap times at the compound so you guys can see my face. But I was using kind of junky ones and I take safety very seriously, but I can also use this in my rally adventures because it's got the nice Stilo comms in it. I'm pumped. So I'm gonna break it in. It's actually E36 day as you guys, not as you guys are watching it. It would have been yesterday for you guys, I think. The last hour of the day, we're just gonna take a bunch of the E36s out and just go get some laps. We had a few more E36s, but there's a few of them that are broken right now. So we got Colette, Stinky, Duarte's S54 car, and then Sean in the back covered in pollen. Engelmann's here too, so I'm gonna stick him in Stinky and have him do a couple laps. us to get our timing down, because with these low power cars,
This is a low power car?
yeah, so we drift like professionally. Our cars make 5 times the horsepower. They make 1,000 horsepower, and then we move about twice as fast. So this is almost like practicing in the rain, because like all your movements have to be so precise.
Yeah.
Where in the other cars you have so much power and grip that you can make a big mistake and then catch up fast. Where these, like, if I let her get 10 feet away from me on the start line, I won't be able to catch her.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a really good training tool. It's like Spec Miata in road racing.
Right, right.
You like it?
Oh, Adam, are you kidding me? This is insane.
I love it. Did on E36 day, which I thought was really cool and honestly took way more time than I anticipated, is I went through my entire camera roll over the past, I think it's almost 5 years, of the life of my OG blue E36. I found some real gems of photos in there, and we kind of made a little storyline showing how that build had progressed through the years. So I figure I'll throw the montage in here in case you guys missed it. But that car's been through a lot, and I'm curious what your guys' favorite iteration of that car was. So we started off this morning learning more Canadian phrases from Maple Mike. The other day it was the dog. Today he's been in the kitchen.
Up the kitchen.
Up the kitchen. And can you elaborate, what does up the kitchen mean?
Like, you know, when, if, I don't know, you ever get in the kitchen and try and make something and you just leave an absolute disaster of a mess? No?
But you said this was good.
Yeah, it's good. But that just, it means you made something good because you f***ed up the kitchen. You're just leaving shit everywhere. You're just in the zone.
So it's not like you f***ed up my kitchen. You
no,
f***ed up my
up the kitchen.
So this is where the kitchen was being talked about right here. So Mike, I'd love for you to kind of like do like a little educational bit about like what to look out for in titanium welding. I know me as like a novice, but someone that understands a small amount enough is that like I always look for the colorless welds. Like you don't want to see a rainbow.
Key feature.
And I don't like personally seeing all the start stops, which are like, I mean, this is a bad example because you the kitchen and the dog, but like this will be way more
scratching it.
Yeah. Hey, you scratched it first.
I know.
But you'll get like these little bits of color will be huge and like very prominent all over the pipe. But I know you like to talk about your penetration.
Yeah, we're talking about pipes and penetration over here at the compound. You nailed it, honestly. Gas coverage is the biggest thing. So normally you are going to have a fairly large gas lens and you're going to be running a lot of gas coverage. I'm running 35 CFM, and then the post flow, which is how long it shoots gas at the object after. Rule of thumb is like 1 second per 10 amps. I'm only welding these I weld at 45 amps, and I'm running 10 to 12 seconds of post flow, and then sometimes I'll smack the pedal a little more if I feel I've added too much heat in. The gas coverage is what cools the weld, and you want that silver sheen on it after. When you start to get blue, purple, it's not bad, it's just that showing that you didn't get the correct gas coverage. It's all about the shielding gas, and same thing with the inside of the tube.
Yeah, so I thought these were fusion welds, which is when you don't use any filler, because it kind of looks like that on tie.
Yes.
So are you using very little filler? Or like...
I just use the standard, I think it's that's 0.063. I think this is 0.045 filler rod. I only use filler rod. It's really bendy, but that's the filler rod that I use on the material. And I love welding titanium because once you fill it with the argon, which we didn't really mention, you have to purge weld everything so that this whole piece is getting filled with argon. using these little plugs, silicone plugs. So we got another tank over there that's submerging this thing in argon. You're covering argon on the outside, so then you get like the full proper penetration on the inside, and you want the silver same look. If I do a couple passes and then I pull my caps off and look, and then if you see, that was my start there. It's a little purpley or bluer. Nothing wrong with it, but it's like if we're doing something, we're doing it to the best of my physical ability. So that's what we're here to do, and that's what you got.
This is my favorite part right here. I love right after the turbo having the transition right into the pie cut downpipe.
Yeah, the flange welded really nice too, so it just looks super smooth.
We were having a conversation earlier about titanium downpipes and cracking. I haven't had one crack before.
I've never had one crack before. I've made it on my own cars, which I beat the shit out of, board slide at the track and stuff, the FDF wagon. I've made a bunch of titanium exhaust for pro cars. I've watched you flatten, like physically run over and flatten the exhaust, and it does break. To
be fair, with that being said though, I also feel like Vibrance titanium is a better quality than like some of maybe the titanium people are used to. Because if you order like, I don't want to name any names, but there are off-the-shelf exhausts you can order, and I feel like the titanium they use is thinner. Because one interesting thing about titanium is it's not lighter if it's the same thickness per se, but because it's stronger, you can get away with using a thinner pipe. And the lack of thickness is where you get the lightness from, but if you go too extreme, then you start to lose strength. So I feel like the Euro car for us was kind of like a test to see the longevity of what we could put it through with all the high RPM, the heat, the limiter bashing, and that held up. So now I'm kind of like, F it, do it on all the cars. Especially in this application, like I'm sure he's gonna do some compound rips in it when it's all done, but this type of car, just like your white chaser, it's not taken to OSW and running the bank and hitting other cars. It's more or less a cruiser. You can do it. I'm not gonna stop you. I was gonna say, don't tell me what I can and can't do, Mike. Don't tell me what I can't do. Yeah. I feel the biggest thing is in the process of welding, because I do a lot of repairs on the aforementioned pre-made exhausts. They don't use a lot of filler rod. A lot of them aren't purge welded. See that a lot. So that's what I feel is the biggest thing. I fix a lot of Subaru exhausts because of that. Like I'll say the name, NVIDIA N1 style systems or the Tomei Tie Extremes. They look nice. They are great, nicely made systems, but the strength in the welds isn't there because I've had to repair them on daily driven vehicles. All right. So here, let's do a little review. So this is actually really heavy. So this is the HKS titanium section. It's because the flange and the sound packing. Because the sound packing probably weighs more than the physical tube. But this is way thicker than like the Tomei stuff is. Way, way, way thicker. Like I didn't even think this was tie at first when I was picking it up. And Tomei has a lot of pie cuts in it. Yeah. Where a lot of the HKS systems are pre-made pieces, but you can even see the gas coverage. How do you get a bend like this out of titanium? That's kind of crazy. They engineer the system on the computer, obviously, or they have a jig for it, and then they mandrel bend it. So the mandrel, Adam's gonna love this. The mandrel bender is like a giant bead that runs through the pipe, and it stays this. Yeah, told you you'd love it. Can you pick a different thing to compare it to? This is a PG channel, guy. It's like a giant snake that runs through the pipe, and then it's got so much more visual. And it keeps the structure of the tube when it's bending it. Like at my regular shop with my exhaust bender, or even like a lot of roll cage benders, you'll find like it'll decrease the size of the material at the bend, where a mandrel bend, because of that die that runs through the pipe, it'll keep the same structure. Pie cut ties will flex. Anyone who says that they don't like it or whatever, it's because they can't do it, or they're not capable of doing it. But yeah, so there's not really many welds that we can judge on this because... No, but you can fully judge this one, dude. Look at the gas coverage. Compare that gas with your knowledge now. Like that's the bad color right there. Like that's like no gas coverage because they just run this on a position. This is a robot. This isn't a human. They set this up on a machine. It sets at a certain angle, sets play, and then it spins it around. Remember our position we were playing with the other day? Exact same thing. It almost looks like stainless. It does. It has that sheen. Even the muffler. It looks cool, but same thing. This is all fuse welded, and it's spun on a rotator. All of these pieces. So I have no idea how this exhaust is going to sound, if I'm being honest. It's really quiet on my 32 GTR, and that's kind of the reason why I wanted to try it on this. It might sound terrible, or I might have discovered something great. And it's going to sound amazing. You think? 150%. Why? Because it's going to get rid of any of the SR notes that you don't like and emphasize all the deeper, smoother, cleaner. And I think it'll be cool because we're doing a recirculated wastegate. That's what I'm playing with now, or that downpipe. So we got this section. And my thought behind that was like, I want to hear the turbo noise more. Which you will. But then when you want to party a little, you can just put on the external wastegate and then you'll get all the epic 4-cylinder turbocharged sounds that you can ask for.
So I think it'll be really chill with the recirculated wastegate. Probably one of the quietest SR cars you've ever had, especially playing with the last S13, which is like, how can we make this quiet?
Yeah.
I think it'll sound awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
This is easy math.
Is it?
Yeah, you know, your piping is 1.5 inches, and then half of 1.5 inches is 3/4. So then you set 3/4, and then you mark center, and then there's your pipe.
Oh,
You know, so like when you're going to weld it, it's easy to see where your center is.
Look at that.
We're figuring out what like the sizing. I think we're good right here. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put these on, mount to the car. These go in the car. And this will weld here. That's what it'll be.
Hell yeah.
Last year we showed up to Amelia Island with my old white trailer that was falling apart, and we got a couple looks until we opened up the trailer and I unloaded the Mint 964 and this car GTR. But this year we're bringing the R34 GTR and the Mint 964. I'm pumped. It's really, really cool to have a trailer this nice now, and like just getting to see the cars in the trailer is like a visual treat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But I'm driving up there. I'll be hanging out at Amelia. Unfortunately, Sunday got canceled because of weather. So they condensed pretty much everything into Saturday. So if you want to come by and check out the cars, I'll be at the Grios booth with the R34 over, I believe, at Radwood, and then the Mint 964 at their main booth on the other side. It's kind of confusing, but if you haven't been to Amelia before, it's a really cool event. A lot of crazy cars there, but overall it's just like a really chill time. So I'll be hanging out up there. Make sure to come say what's up, grab a photo. We'll have some special stickers over the Grios booth as well. Free of charge for you guys, but only you guys specifically. If you don't mention this video, you get no stickers. And a closing word from the sponsor of today's video, Samet LLC. Do you like Japan, but you don't speak Japanese? Do you really enjoy things that are pink instead of food? Do you prefer a drink? Is your favorite driver Luke Fink? If you've answered yes to any of those questions, then you should head over to the Samet YouTube channel. They've sponsored today's video and provided me with something very exciting. And if I get enough people to go and comment on Sam's video saying something nice, I'm actually going to be getting a kickback for every single comment on his YouTube channel. We had an agreement where every new subscriber, I get a certain amount of money, and then every comment, I get a certain amount of money to try to work off this amazing Nismo S15 cluster that Sam sent me. This is the final piece of my S15 build. Believe it or not, this is gonna sound like the stupidest, most Adam thing you've ever heard. I have two of these. I cannot find them anywhere for the life of me. We've spent probably the past 2 weeks looking. They're somewhere here on the compound. And I so badly want to have this in the car when it's finished, which is looking like next week, that Samet went out of his way and he sent this to me from his personal collection just so I could have it in the car for that special, all the way from Japan. Guys, if you like Japan and Sam, the name of a person, you should go check out Sam at LLC videos. I'm really thankful, all jokes aside, to Sam for this. Appreciate you, Sam. That's not going to be the closing thought of this video, but I wanted to give a massive thank you to Sam at LLC for sponsoring this video, and to Nismo for remaking these gauges so you don't have to get hella taxed and spend $3,000, because that is not what these cost. And by the way, like, I feel like I haven't leaned into that much about how cool the engine in that car is. VVLSR. I'm going to be revving that thing high. Like, we can go really high. I don't know how high we're going to go, but I think Freddie says he's okay with me going a little past 9 without a dry sump, but if I want to go too much past it, then I got to put a dry sump on it. But we're going to be using this tack.
The whole tack.
Not the whole tack, but 90% of it, theoretically. All right, now I'm about to rip out of here, but I do want to extend a massive special thank you to Maple Mike, who's been crushing it all week.
Thanks, dude.
Literally non-stop pie cuts all week. It's kind of insane, but the overall finished product is going to be well worth it.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. I like welding. I like making stuff. So what better fit than that? We got the engine bay completely dialed. I'm sure Mike's got some killer footage of that. And I'm going to be hanging out here tonight making that exhaust fit the downpipe. So other than that, I think everything went perfect. We got double dose wastegates, internal, external, whatever you feel like. You can toss it on there. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys will see this build wrap up in the next week or so, and as much as we would love for Maple Mike to be joining the team, it's not an option on the cards, but we do appreciate you coming by all the way from Canada.
I appreciate it, dude.
Hopefully we can get you back down here again, because I know we got a few other projects that are kind of like this, where we want to have the creme de la creme of welds, so.
That's what I'm here for, to come on out and just work on special projects with the homies. Nothing more fun than that, honestly.
I'll leave you with these closing words I learned from Mike himself. Bleep that one out. I was going to say, don't be f***ing your dog in the kitchen.
Oh, so don't bleep that one out?
No, bleep both out.
Okay.
Yep.
But that just, it means you made something good, because you f***ed up the kitchen. You're just everywhere. You're just in the zone.
So it's not like you f***ed up my kitchen.
No, I f***ed up the kitchen.
So this is where the kitchen was being talked about right here.